Or anything, all the rates, everything can be fine.
Hi, Sriram sir.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Fine.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So we will start by 12, 5 or 7.
No problem.
Let
We'll
me
start
take
by.
that.
Yes, sure.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Set.
Naveen. Naveen. Naveen.
Sriram sir,
Yes, Ankita.
I think we are good to go now.
Yes, yes, we can start now.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yes. So, before starting with today's session, I would like to request Miss Reshmina to please introduce our sir to all the participants and so that we may start with today's webinar. Reshmina, over to you.
Good afternoon to all my respected seniors and my professional colleagues. I would like to welcome all of you to this most informative and captivating session for today's webinar, which is on important provision of Consumer Act 2019. Before starting this session, I would like to give a brief introduction of today's topic. Consumer Protection Act 2019. The Act provides protection to the consumer by providing them with consumer rights to protect them from fraud or specified unfair practices. These rights ensure that consumers can make better choices in the marketplace and get help with complaints. Slogan being Jago Grahak Jago. To make our Grahak Jago, I would like to introduce CS Sriram sir, the key speaker of our today's webinar. CS Sriram sir is a company secretary and a fellow member of ICSI. He is management graduate MBA from Bharatiya University, Coimbatore. He is also a Master of Philosophy in Financial Management from Tamil Nadu Open University. He is a law graduate from Sri Venkateshwara University, Andhra Pradesh. He has done various research on IBC, Companies Act, MSME, and his article on IBC was published in Chartered Secretary of ICSI, and his article on MSME was published in Directors Today and Cost Accounting Institute magazine. He appears before NCLT, RERA Appellate Tribunal, and also for various arbitration and conciliation cases. He is a senior partner of our firm. The mic is all yours, sir. Now.
Thank you. Thank you for your brief introduction. I request Ankita to share the PowerPoint so that we can.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Just give me a moment.
No problem.
I think my screen is visible to
Yes,
all
yes,
the
yes, visible. It is very fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Go to the second slide. So, this Consumer Protection Act was passed in the year 2019. It replaces the earlier Consumer Protection Act 1986. So, it was passed in the year 2020 and it came into effect from the 2nd of July 2020. And the purpose for this act is, the main object for this act is for the protection of the consumers and their interest. And before we go into the other important definitions in this portion, I would like to give a brief history of this Consumer Protection Act. Dear friends, in the earlier Consumer Protection Act in the ancient days, in British era, there are also various acts which protect the consumers, like Sale of Goods Act, Indian Contract Act, and Agricultural Produce Marketing Prices Act 1937. Like these kinds of act is only for the protection of the consumer interest. And after that, the Consumer Protection Act was enacted in the year 1986 for the protection of consumers and their interest. Now, what is the purpose of this new Consumer Protection Act? Why it has came? We have to understand in the earlier 1986 Act does not contain the provisions with respect to the product liability, electronic e-commerce service providers, due to changes in this now, there is a change in the new business model and modern consumers. So to align the Consumer Protection Act to the present scenario, now this Consumer Protection Act was brought into force. Now it consists of, hello? Yes. Now this Consumer Protection was brought into force. Now it consists of
GM Finance के बाद सब चलिए लगाना जरा सेमिनार
one is like to, I think someone has to unmute there. So now this Consumer Protection Act, now this due to various e-commerce business, e-commerce service provider, online business, many business change in these business models to address the grievances raised in these kinds of business. Now the Consumer Protection Act is.
Mr. Gaurav, please mute yourself.
Go to the next slide. Can you please go to the next slide? Nikita? Yes, next. So now we are going to the important definitions in the Consumer Protection Act. Now earlier there was no these kinds of definition. Now it is an important definition we have to look into this Consumer Protection Act. Advertisement is a definition defined in the Consumer Protection Act. Advertisement means any audio or visual publicity, representation, endorsement or pronouncement made by means of light, sound, smoke, gas, print, electronic media, internet or website, and includes any notice, circulars, label, refer, invoice or such other documents. So if you are making any advertisement through this mode, it will be treated as an advertisement. Okay. Now the next slide, next definition. Yes. Now you have to see who is the complainant. Complainant means a consumer first, or any voluntary consumer association registered under any law for the time being in force. It means the voluntary consumer association must be a registered one. It must be registered under the state act or any other act, but it should be a registered consumer association. So it's not be an unregistered consumer association. It should be a registered consumer association. This is central government or any state government or central authority or one or more consumers where there are numerous consumers having same interest. So if the consumers are affected by and large by way of any advertisement, then the consumers can jointly file an application or complain before the State Consumer Redressal Commission or whatever case may be. In case of death of a consumer, his legal hire or legal representative can file a case on behalf of the deceased person. And in case of consumer being a minor, if a person is being a minor, you can see that our children or small children will go and purchase some chocolates or any other materials or consumable products. So if they incur any loss or grievous hurt because of this, using this chocolates or any other thing. So if they are affected, then his parents or his legal guardians can file a complaint before the Consumer Commission. The next one, complaint means any allegation in writing made by a complainant for obtaining any relief provided by or under this act. The unfair contract, unfair trade practice or restrictive trade practice has been adopted by any trader or service provider. Goods bought by him or agreed to be bought by him suffer from one or more defects. The services hired or availed of or agreed to be hired or availed by him suffer from any deficiency. A trader or service provider, as the case may be, is charged for the goods or for the services mentioned in the complaint excess of the price. So any fixed by or under law for the time being in force or displayed on the goods or any package containing such goods or displayed on the price list exhibited by him by or under any law for the time being in force or agreed between the parties. The goods which are hazardous to life and safety when used are being offered for sale to the public in contravention of the standards related to safety of such goods are required to be complied with or by or under any law for the time being in force. where the trader knows that the goods so suffered are unsafe to the public. The services which are hazardous are likely to be hazardous to life and safety of the public when used or being offered by any service who knows it to be injurious to life and safety. A claim for the product liability action lies against the product manufacturer, product seller, or product service provider as the case may be. Here we have to note that earlier definitions were all included in the this Consumer Act 1986. But this product liability action, product manufacturer, product seller are also, and product service provider also brought into this picture now. If they sell any defective products, or there is any manufacturing defect, then there is any deficiency in product services, then they are also now liable under the Consumer Protection Act 2019. That is in the new act. Earlier it was not in the Consumer Protection Act 1986. So this is a new provision added in the Consumer Protection Complaint. The next one. Consumer means any goods. Consumer means any person who buys any goods for consideration which is paid or promised or partly paid and partly promised or under any deferred payment and includes any user of such goods other than the person who buys such goods for consideration, paid, promised, or partly promised, or under any state system of deferred payment when such use is made with, I think it is made with approval of such person, but does not include a person who obtains such goods or for resale or for any commercial purpose. So if I purchase the goods and if any person with my consent uses the goods by other person, then he is also a consumer. Then he hires or avails of any services for consideration which has been paid or promised or partly paid and partly promised or under any system of deferred payment and includes any beneficiary of such service other than the person who hires of service or consideration paid or promised or partly paid and partly promised or under any system of deferred payment when such services are availed of with the approval of the first mentioned person, but does not include a person who avails of such service for any commercial purpose. The point to be noted is the goods which is purchased or service availed by any person, it should not be for its commercial purpose. It should be for his livelihood or for his own purpose. Okay. Now, if this condition is satisfied, then only it will be treated as a consumer. The express and commercial purpose does not include use by a person of goods bought and used by him for the purpose of gaining his livelihood by means for self-employment. The ex-person buys and goods and hires or avails any includes offline and online transaction through electronic means or by teleshopping or direct selling or multi-level marketing. This is a new provision you see. It is added in the Consumer Act, where earlier it was not there, I think so. Now, offline and online transactions also brought into the expression of our this consumer thing. If you buy the goods, buy online and offline also by teleshopping. The next one. And consumer dispute means a dispute where the person against whom a complaint has been made or denies the allegations contained in the complaint. The person means a dispute where the person against whom a complaint has been made. He comes and denies and disputes the allegation. These are the true ingredients should be there to say that it is a consumer dispute. If he says that I denies, or if he says that I disputes these allegations contained in the complaint, it is a consumer dispute. Now coming to the definition of e-commerce. E-commerce means buying or selling of goods or services, including digital products over digital or electronic mode. Now you see we are buying any goods through online mode like Flipkart or Amazon, any goods which is done by way of using this electronic mode. It is also called digital products. It is also called as an e-commerce, buying and selling through this. Next one. Electronic service provider means a person who provides technology or process to enable a product seller to engage in advertising or selling of goods or services to consumer and include any online marketplace or online auction sites. Now the online auction sites also an electronic service providers under this definition section 2 of 817 of the Consumer Act. Endorsement. In relation to an advertisement means any message, verbal statement, demonstration, or depiction of the name, signature, likeness, or identifiable personal characteristics of an individual, or depiction of the name or seal of any institution or organization, which makes the consumer to believe that it reflects the opinion, finding, or experience of the person making such endorsement. Now, the endorsement, you can see that most of the film stars and cricket players are coming and saying that, for example, this Hema Malini, Madam Hema Malini, actress is appearing for the Kent RO and saying that it is for the Kent RO water. It means the celebrity is endorsing the product. Next one. Product means any article, any goods or substance or raw material or any extended cycle of such product which may be in gaseous, liquid or solid state, possessing intrinsic value which is capable of delivery either as a whole, assembled or as a component part and is produced for introduction to trade or commerce but does not include human tissues, blood products and organs. You see that these are all not in products. Human tissues, blood products and organs are not in products. Other than this, whatever it is stated is in any raw material or extended cycle of such product which may be in gaseous, liquid or solid state. It is capable of delivery as a whole, assembled or component is produced for introduction to trade. So, which is tradable goods is a product. Now, product liability means a responsibility of a product manufacturer or product seller of any product or service to compensate for any harm caused to a consumer by such defective product manufactured or sold or deficiency in service relating thereto. Now you can see the product liability or the manufacturing defect. I mean, in forthcoming, I think in chart we can see about the manufacturing defect. And one case was there where the Supreme Court has passed an order that I think it is the matter of some car manufacturing company, where then consumer has driven a car and he met with an accident and the airbag which is to be deployed at the time is not deployed and he incurred injuries. So he has filed a complaint stating that airbags which is required to be deployed at the time when the car was polluted is not worked properly. Because of that he met with an injuries. Honorable Supreme Court has stated that as it is a manufacturing defect and the company, the product manufacturer is liable to make a compensation. So product liability includes the product manufacturer and product seller or whoever provide service to the product is liable for such product defect and deficiency for their services. The next one. Product liability action means a complaint filed by a person before a district commission or state commission or national commission as the case being for claiming compensation for the harm caused to him because of the product defect. Number 36, section 2 of 86. Product manufacturer means who makes any product or parts thereof, or whether he makes a product or assembles parts thereof made by others, or put or causes to be put his own mark on any products made by any other person. So he will not be a manufacturer, but he put the marks on his product, his own mark on the product. He is also a product manufacturer. Makes a product and sells, distributes, leases, installs, prepares, packages, markets, repairs, maintains such product, or is otherwise involved in placing such product for commercial purpose, or designs product, fabricates, constructs or remanufactures any product before its sale, or being a product seller of a product is also a manufacturer of such product. So all these persons comes under the definition of product manufacturers. So next one. Product seller. Section 2, subsection 37. The product seller in relation to a product means a person who in the course of business imports, sells, distributes, leases, installs, prepares, packages, labels, markets, repairs, maintains, or otherwise involved in placing such product for commercial purpose, and includes a manufacturer who is also a product seller or service provider, but does not include a seller of immovable property unless such person is engaged in the sale of construction house or in construction of home or flats. So now the real estate buyer, real estate companies who is selling the immovable properties is also a product seller. A person, a provider of professional services in any transaction in which the sale or use of products is only incidental thereto, but furnishing of opinion, skill, or services being the essence of such transaction. Provider of professional services in any transaction in which the sale or use of product is only incidental thereto, but furnishing opinion, skills, or but furnishing opinion, skill, or services being the essence of such transaction. A person acts only in financial capacity with respect to sale of the product. He is not a service provider. He is not a manufacturer, wholesaler, distributor, retailer, direct seller, or any other electronic service provider. Leases product without having a reasonable opportunity to inspect and discover defects in product under an arrangement in which the selection, process, and maintenance and operation of product are controlled by a person other than the leaser. So these are all the product sellers. Now, next one. Product service providers in relation to product means a person who provides any service in respect of such product. Defect means you have any fault, imperfection, or shortcoming in the quality, quantity, potency, purity, standard in which required to be maintained by or under any law for the time being in force or under any contract express or implied as is claimed by the trader in manner whatsoever in relation to any goods and any goods or products and expression defective shall be construed accordingly. Next one. Deficiency. Now, deficiency in services. What is meant by deficiency in service? So means deficiency in services under section 2 of subsection 11 means any fault, imperfection. If there is an imperfection in the service, it is also deficiency. Shortcoming or inadequacy in the quality, nature, and manner of performance, which is required to be maintained by or under any law for the time being in force or has been undertaken to be performed by a person in pursuance of a contract or otherwise related to any service and includes any act of negligence or omission or commission by such person which causes loss or injury to the consumer and deliberate withholding of relevant information by such person to the consumer. See, the second point which is to be noted is very important. Deliberate withholding of relevant information by such person to the consumer. Suppose if you buy any product, they have to explain about or they have to give a manual how to use it. Or if you use it in a different way other than those prescribed in the manual, then it will cause an dangerous to our life. So they should not withhold any information with respect to any services or with respect to any product. They must give the details. They should not withhold any relevant information. If they withhold any relevant information, it is also a deficiency in service. So next one. See, there are essential provisions with respect to the consumer. These are all the authorities and councils which are constituted of the Consumer Protection Act for the development of the consumer's knowledge as well as the consumer's interest. What are these authorities under the Consumer Protection Act is Consumer Protection Councils. See, there are three types of Consumer Protection Council. One is Central Consumer Protection Council, second one is State Consumer Protection Councils, and third one is District Consumer Protection Councils. What is the State Consumer Protection? Central Consumer Protection Council is constituted as an advisory body. They constituted with the members like it would be consist of chairman, minister of in charge of Department of Consumer Affairs is a chairperson of the council, and such other number of official and non-official members representing a necessary interest as they may be from any areas or any members of any professional bodies like traders association or any other association, consumer association. So necessary interest, they would be representing necessary interest. The Central Consumer Council will meet once in every year. At least one meeting will be held in every year. This consumer protection's main object to promote the interest of the consumers, protect and promote the interest of the consumers. The next one, state consumer, as I said earlier, the state consumer protection will be constituted by the central concerned state government in the concerned state headquarters, and the minister of in charge of the state of consumer affairs will be the chairperson, and such a number of official and non-official members represent the interest. And central government may also appoint not less than 10 members for the purpose of this act. The state council must hold at least 2 meetings in every year. The object is also the same. The next one. Next. And the next one. See, now the District Consumer Protection Council. As I said earlier, state government has to establish this Consumer Protection Council as the district levels in each district to promote and protect the interest of the consumer rights. The district collector is the person who will be appointed as a chairperson. He will be the chairperson, and any other members representing interest as may be prescribed. And they have to hold at least 2 meetings in a year. And normally they will conduct the meetings and seminars and workshops for the consumer awareness. They will create consumer awareness programs every month, every year, so that the consumer can know about their rights given under the Consumer Protection Act. So they can utilize this Consumer Protection Act in case of there is any consumer dispute or any restrictive trade practice or unfair trade practice done against them by the consumers, that is traders, sellers. Next one. Central Consumer Protection Authority. See, it is a very important provision. This Consumer Protection Authority is constituted by the central government to protect the interests of the consumers and to file the case against the sellers which is making the unfair trade practice or involved in the unfair trade practice or restrictive trade practice. And if they are giving any false or misleading advertisement which are prejudicial to the consumers and the public. It consists of chief commissioner and other commissioners, and it also consists of an investigation wing by the director general, who is a director general of investigation wing. Under him, there are some other directors, additional directors, assistant directors will function under them. Once any case is referred to these consumer authorities or any case, they can. So any case is referred to them, they can take up the matter and make an investigation and pass an order. And any order passed by this Central Consumer Protection Authority is appealable only before the National Commission, National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. So this Consumer Protection Authority has a huge powers. They have the rights to levy the fine of up to 10 lakh rupees in case of false or misleading advertisements or any violation of consumer rights or unfair trade practice or restrictive trade practice. Recently, I think they have passed one order in the matter of Sensodyne. So I think Ankita can go for the next slide. Yes. Recent days, the Consumer Protection Authority has taken a suo motu action against the Sensodyne for giving a false advertisement. Yes. CCPA has passed an order directing the discontinuation of the advertisement of Sensodyne product, foreign dentist.
Okay.
But after the action, the CCPA has initiated suo motu action against advertisements on various platforms, including television, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, showing dentists practicing outside India, endorsing the use of Sensodyne products, namely Sensodyne Rapid Relief and Sensodyne Fresh Gel, for protection against the teeth sensitivity, and making claims that Sensodyne is recommended by dentists worldwide. This Central Consumer Protection Authority on suo motu made an investigation and after examination of the response received by the company has observed that they have not done all these recommendations given only by the dentists who are practicing in India and not by the worldwide. So they claim that it is the Sensodyne products is recognized to recommended by the worldwide dentist is not found. It is a false advertisement is given. Therefore, the Central Consumer Protection Authority has passed an order to stop making these kinds of false advertisement and ordered this Sensodyne to pay a fine of rupees 10 lakh rupees. This was a recent order passed by the Central Consumer Protection Authority. It is a method to protect the consumers. Next one.
हम गुड़िया माता जी को ले जाए तो अच्छा रहेगा करें ये लोग जब कोई नहीं करने वाले बता और फिर लाएंगे भी ये लोग कैसे मैं बोली मैं ले
Miss
जाती
Usha,
उन लोग तो
I
आएगा ही
request Miss Usha, I request you to please mute yourself.
Thank you.
Please, I request all the participants to mute yourself. It's a humble request. Thank you so much.
हाँ, मैं ये कह रहा था कि आप ही अपना जो लेवल पे देख लेना वो जो पार्टीशन है ना जो ग्लास का
Mr. Vasant,
और
Mr. Mehta,
दीदी के नंबर है ना आपके पास
Mr. Mehta, please mute yourself, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. See, now there are consumer redressal commissions were there. Earlier it was a consumer, so it is a district consumer forum. Now state commission and national commission was there. Now it is renamed as District Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, State Consumer Redressal Commission, and National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commissions were established. So central government has powers to establish the regional branches of National Consumer Redressal Commission, and state government can also have the benches, regional benches of the State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. Now coming to this State Central Consumer Redressal Commission, that is District Consumer Commission. The next one, please go to the next one. Yes, District Consumer Redressal Commission consists of a president and not less than 2 and not more than such number of members as may be prescribed in consultation with the central government. District Commission now has the jurisdiction to entertain the claims where the value of the goods and services paid as consideration does not exceed 1 crore. Now the latest notification which is issued by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs in the month of December has reduced the threshold limit, that is the service paid as consideration does not exceed 50 lakhs. Up to 50 lakhs rupees consideration paid, you can file a complaint before the District Consumer Commission. And if it is more than 50 lakhs up to 2 crores, now you have to file the complaint only before the State Commission, that is State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. And if it is more than 2 crores and above, now you have to file the case only before the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. Okay. Now coming to the next one. The State Commission has jurisdiction. As I said, it is been up to 10 crores. 1 crores to 10 crores as per Act. Now, after this, some amendment has came now. It is, as I said earlier, it is now up to 2 crores. The next one. National Commission has jurisdiction entirely committed as per the consideration paid exceeds 10 crores. Next one. Yes, present jurisdiction after this notification on dated 30th/12/2021. The next slide. The subject of other provisions of the Act and pursuance of Subsection 1 of the now Section 84 of the District Commission shall have jurisdiction to entertain complaints where the value of goods and services paid as consideration does not exceed 50 lakhs. So see, now reduced the threshold. So if you are having the consideration paid up to 50 lakh rupees, now you can go and approach only to the District Commission, not to the State Commission. Next one. Next slide, please. Subject to other provisions of the Act in pursuance of Subsection 1 of Section 47 of the State Commission shall have jurisdiction to entertain the complaints where the value of goods or services paid as consideration exceeds 50 lakhs but does not exceed 2 crores. So up to more than 2 crores, that is more than 50 lakhs, up to 2 crores, any consideration you are paid for which you are now filing a complaint, you have to approach only to the concerned state commission. Okay, then next one. Yes, for the National Commission, if it exceeds 2 crores, the paid compensation is your consideration is exceeds 2 crores, goods or services paid as consideration exceeds 2 crores, then you have to file that complaint before the National Commission directly. Next one, appeals. See, now the District Commission, if pass any order, if you want to make any appeal, then you have to file an appeal before the State Commission, and the time period is within 30 days. You have to make an appeal. For each, if in case of order is passed by the State Commission, you have to make an appeal before the National Commission. And if any order is passed by the National Commission, if you are agreed with that order, then you have to appeal before the Supreme Court within 30 days of passing the order. And all the courts for sufficient reasons. So if you say that I have been, due to the sufficient cause is shown that I'm not able to file an appeal within 30 days, then the court has the power to condone the delay in filing the appeal. Next one. District Commissioner State Government shall not admit a complaint unless it is filed within 2 years. Say for example, from the cause of action, when the cause of action is arised, you have to file the case within 2 years. After 2 years, it is as is barred by the limitation, but however, it will be entertained only if you show the sufficient reason, sufficient cause which prevented you from filing this case. If the court is satisfied that the District Commissioner, State Commissioner, National Commission is satisfied with your submissions, then your case will be entertained, it will be numbered, and the case will be admitted, even after the delay of 2 years. Okay, then next one. Previous one we have seen. Okay, the next one. How to make a complaint to the authorities. Suppose if you want to make a complaint to the Central Consumer Protection Authority, what you have to do? With relating to this unfair trade practice or false misleading advertisements which are prejudicial interest of a consumer as a class, may be forwarded to either in writing or in electronic mode or to any one of the authorities, namely District Collector. See, District Collector is the one of the person who is designated as an authority under the Central Consumer Protection Authority. So you can forward the complaint to the District Collector or the Commissioner of Regional Office or Central Authority. The Central Authority under Section 21 has provided with powers to issue direction and penalty against false or misleading advertisements. So you can write the complaint in writing, in physical or in electronic mode. Next one. How to file complaint in District Commissioner, State Commissioner, National Commission. Friends, you all know that after this COVID situation, now almost all the cases is filed only through the online mode. And now they have provided the facility of filing the consumer complaints through online. There is a portal which is called as e-Dakil. If you log into this e-Dakil, you can register your complaint by creating a login and user ID. And you can file the complaints through this e-Dakil portal from anywhere in India. There is no need that the complaints should be filed only where.
Mr. Mohan? Mr. Mohan, please mute yourself, sir.
Thank you. So e-Dakil portal. Through this e-Dakil portal, the advocates and any customers, any consumers can log in, create a login and user ID and password, and after logging into this portal, you can select the appropriate application, whether it is complaint or appeal or reply or rejoinder, whatever it is, you can file your application complaints through this portal only. And you can make the fees through online in this portal. Next one. Nomenclature to be given to the complaints and appeals, etc. What is the nomenclature? See, many of them don't know what is the complaint, what is the nomenclature has to be given for the case. For example, I think it is consumer does not know what to mention in the complaint, whether it is a complaint or it is appeal. What is to be nomenclature has to be provided. In case of a complaint should be referred as a consumer complaint as CC. And any appeal shall be referred to as first appeal FA. Revision petition, it is RP. Execution petition EA. Appeal in execution matters, AE. Transfer application, TA. Revenue review application. See, review application is filed before the National Commission for review of its own order. So you can mention it as a review application, and any interim application is to be mentioned as IA, and miscellaneous application. All these applications should be followed with the year of filing. Next one. See, fee structure. What is the fees has to be paid for filing an application? For the state commission, if you file the application up to 5 lakh rupees for the consideration, value of goods or consideration paid as consideration, then there is no fees for filing the application till up to 5 lakh rupees. Up to 5 lakhs, above 5 lakhs and up to 10 lakh rupees is 200. Above rupees 10 lakh and up to rupees 20 lakhs, it is 400 rupees has to pay. Then these are all the fees structure it is given under the consumer rules. So you can see the fees, how much fees you have to pay based on your claim, which is submitting before the respective commission. The next one. Enforcement of order of district commission, state commission, district commission or state commission or state commission and national commission. Every order made by the district commission, state commission or national commission shall be enforced by it in the same manner as it were a decree made by a court in a suit before it, and provisions of order 21 of the first schedule of the Code of Civil Procedure is applied. So it is enforceable. If the district commission passed the order, and if you want to enforce its order where the respondent is not making the payment or not complying with the order, then you can go and file an application, that is execution petition, before the National Commission, or where whatever commission passed the order, you can file it there and get our order executed by filing the execution application. The next one. See, penalty for non-compliance of order. What is the penalty for non-compliance? So if you see that if the order is not complied, you got an order, but it is not complied, what to do? So you filed an executive petition and it is not complied with it. So whoever fails to comply with an order made by the district commissioner, state commissioner, national commissioner, as the case may be, shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term, which shall not be less than 1 month, but which may extend to 3 years, or with fine, which shall not be less than 25,000 rupees, but which may extend to 1 lakh rupees or both. So there is a penalty for non-compliance of order, and there is an imprisonment clause is also there. Now, apart from this, all these, that is what to say, there is an redressal mechanism provided in this act. There is also an alternate dispute resolution mechanism also prescribed in this Consumer Protection Act. The Consumer Protection Act provides for the mediation, that is alternate dispute redressal mechanism, in order to resolve the consumer dispute in a much faster way. So whenever you file a case in the district commission or state commission or national commission, if the district commission finds that there is an elements of settlement of dispute through mediation, then they can refer the matter for the mediation. So pre-mediation clause is there, so it can be referred to the mediation. And who can be a mediator? Mediator means the person who possesses such qualification under the Mediator Regulations 2020. Consumer Protection Act provides for the mediator. Who can be mediator? As I said, the person who possessing the such qualification can act as a mediator, and that mediator should be empaneled with the mediation cell, which is attached with the district commission, state commission, and national commission. Now, establishment of mediator cell. I think I am running out of time. 10 minutes within it, I have to complete it. The state government shall establish by notification a consumer mediation cell to be attached to each district commission and state commissions of that state. Central commission shall establish by notification consumer mediation cell to be attached to the national commission and each of the regional benches. A consumer mediation cell consists of such number of persons as may be prescribed. Every consumer mediation cell shall maintain a list of empaneled mediators, a list of cases handled by the cell, record of proceedings, and any other information as specified by the regulations. So these are the informations will be maintained by the mediation cell. Section 75 of the purpose of mediation, National Commission and State Commission as the case shall prepare a panel of mediators to be maintained by the central mediation attached to it on recommendation of a selection committee consisting of The president and member of the commission. See, normally the commission will issue a notice, public notice in the newspapers, so that anyone who want to become a mediator, they can submit their application, and the president and member of the selection committee will scrutinize your application, and if you are satisfying the qualification and experience requirement, then you will be empaneled as a mediator in the concerned district commission and state commission. The time period for mediation. The mediator who is empaneled, once the case is referred to him by the district commission or state commission, a national commission, should try to settle the dispute within 3 months. There is settlement is arrived between the parties, then the mediator must prepare the report and forward the signed agreement along with such report to the consent commission. Where no agreement is reached between the parties within a specific time, or the mediator is hoping the settlement is not possible, he shall prepare his report accordingly and submit the same to the consumer consent commission. Next. District commission or state commissioners, as the case may be, shall within 7 days of the report of the receipt of the settlement report, pass suitable order regarding such settlement of consumer dispute and dispose of the matter accordingly. So where the consumer dispute is settled only in part, as the case may be, shall record the settlement of the issues which are so settled and continue to hear the other issues involved in the consumer. For example, if there is any dispute and some that other few issues are not settled, consumer commission will record that settlement of the issues, and balance issues the case will be heard. So where the consumer dispute could not settle by the mediation, the district commissioner or state commissioner, as the case may be, shall continue to hear all the issues. So no mediation, no settlement is arrived. So issues are not partly settled, or no settlement has taken place with respect to the issues. Then the entire case will be heard by the national commission or state commission and concerned district commission. Next. Offences and penalties. Section 21 and 2 and 89 of the Act provides the central authority with the power to impose a penalty in respect of any false or misleading advertisement by manufacturer or an endorser. It may be order imposed on manufacturer or endorser a penalty which may extend to 10 lakh rupees. So as I said earlier, the Central Consumer Protection Authority has the powers to impose the penalty up to 10 lakh rupees for false or misleading advertisements by manufacturer or any endorser. Endorser means, I said earlier, any celebrities or any sports person who is giving endorsement must ensure that this advertisement which they are making endorsement is not false or misleading one. It is a real. So without making any proper analysis, they should not give any endorsements. Next one. There are some landmark judgment has been provided. So if you see whether an online purchaser can sue in consumer forums. The Spice State Limited was Ranju Array. In this case, it was held that yes, the online purchaser is in can file in consumer forums. So he booked a ticket in, here in this case, the respondent is booked a ticket for traveling from Kolkata to New Delhi, and after arriving to the airport, for his shock, this trip was cancelled by the Spice State without any information. He was forced to book another ticket for another flight, and he filed a case in the consumer forum. And the Spice State had argued that there is no jurisdiction. He should not file the case here. He should file the case only where the appellant resides or company resides, where the state office of the appellant resides. But Supreme Court has held that no, the consumer can file the case anywhere where it is an online transaction, even the place where he already resides. This is an order passed by the Consumer Commission with respect to this case. The next one. Yes, I said he can file. Next one is United India versus Devinder Singh. The fact that there was an allegation of deficiency in service owing to non-payment of amounts of damage covered by insurance policy by the grounds for rejection of payment, the driver of offending vehicle possessed a forged license. Whether renewal of forged license fasten any liability on insurer to the issue is the Supreme Court held that Renewal of 4G license would not fasten any liability on insurer to indemnify the owner, and the non-payment did not amount to deficiency in service. The next one, as I told earlier, this is an unfair trade practice. You can note everywhere you purchase any product, the shopkeepers will charge you a particular amount for your carry bags. So charging for the paper carry bags or whatever it is, carry bags is an unfair trade practice. They should not charge for carry bags. So they should provide at free of cost. They should not charge for the carry bags. It is amounts to an unfair trade practice. The next one. See, Consumer Protection Act protects the consumer, also provide an opportunity for practicing professional like us. So as a company secretaries, you may ask, what is my role? What I can do as a company secretary with respect to the Consumer Protection Act? As a company secretary, you can give an advisory services on the consumer protection to the consumers, and you can appear before the consumer district commissions, state commissions, national consumer dispute redressal commissions as an authorized agent. Now you can appear as an authorized agent and appear before the commission and represent the matter on behalf of the consumer or for the respondent company. Next, and mediation. See, if you are having an experience of more than 15 years of practicing experience, you can now empanel as a mediator in Consumer Commission under Consumer Protection Act. Not company secretaries, if you are having more than 15 years of experience as per the mediator rules or regulations. Now you can empanel with the District Consumer Commission as a mediators and play a role of mediator. Next one. Mandatory maintenance of records. See, now as per the Consumer Protection Act under Rule 4 of Direct Selling Entities Rules 2020, it is very important, you should note it down. The company secretaries are authorized to certification. Company secretary alone is authorized to certify the certain documents, which is to be maintained by the direct selling entities. What are those documents under Rule 4? The following are the documents which is to be uploaded in the website, and it must be certified by it should carry the certification of a company secretary. Certificate of what are the documents? You can see that certificate of incorporation, memorandum of association, articles of association, PAN, GST, income tax return, balance sheet, certificate of import exporter code, license issued by FSSAI, license and registration certificate issued by drugs and cosmetics. Registration of trade.
Mr. Vikas, sir. Mr. Vikas. Sir, please mute yourself. Sriram, sir, you may continue, please.
Yes. So these are all the documents which is required to be uploaded by the direct selling entities in their portal, and it should contain a certification by the company secretary under Rule 5 of the set rules. The next slide. Yes. I think thank you for everyone for yes. Yes, Ankita, any questions anybody raised?
Hello. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sriram. Actually, it's an eye-opening session. You have elaborately described what the role of company secretary, how company secretary can encash the opportunity given in this act and regulations. Really, it's an eye-opening session. Thanks a lot.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your compliments. Thank you, sir.
Sir, we have received certain queries in the chat box.
Is there any timeline prescribed for issuing order or resolution? Yes, there is a time limit. I think it is 90 days within they have to decide. But they may extend the time for stating the reasons. Normally, the consumer commissions will take time delivering their orders. And next question is, does human body artificial organs fall under this act? No, it is not a product. As I said earlier, it is not a product. And with the mutual fund, cryptos, or any other investment products comes under the Consumer Protection Act. Sir, you have to understand that there is one statutory warning given under the SEBI Act that security market investments are subject to market risks. Please read the offer document carefully before investing. Till then, you are making the investing. How come these mutual fund companies will be liable and responsible? It does not fall under the consumer protection. I think so. So after the statutory warning, you are making the investment. It is for your commercial purpose. It's a trading. You are making a gambling. So mutual funds or cryptos don't come under the Consumer Protection Act. I think so. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I think all the questions are taken up. If our participants have any other questions, they may ask.
Hi, sir. Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah, so I have a further query. I just wanted to understand that what is the fee applicable for filing a complaint in district, national, and state commission?
Yes, ma'am. It is based on the value of consideration for which you are filing a complaint. What is the complaint? What is the consideration you are paid for that particular product or services? Based on that, the fee calculation will be there. I provided the table. If you want, I will give the PowerPoint.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yes, we have one more participant who is willing
Yeah,
to.
Mr. Sriram, actually in the starting when you have shown in one of the slides, under those things that organs you have written, I have already raised the query about the artificial organs. It
Yes.
comes under that one, under the product category?
It is artificial organs. So yes, it is, sir, it is only for the human purpose. So I don't think it will come.
No, you have written the organs, but I am talking about the artificial organ. There are two different things.
Yes. So you are telling about artificial organs.
Yes.
Yes. So artificial organs, yes, it is a product, sir. Yes.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we are done with the questions. Reshmina, you may give the vote of thanks to our Sriram sir for such a knowledgeable session. Over to you, Reshmina.
I would like to express my gratitude to all the esteemed delegates of the webinar for your presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. I would like to thank our Honorable CS G. Sriram sir for taking out time from his busy schedule to enlighten us regarding the topic important provision of the Consumer Protection Act. This was really a very knowledgeable, cultivating session, sir. Looking forward for such sessions from you in near future. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you,
sir.
all of you. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you. Thank you.
Welcome. पता ही नहीं होता हमारे को कंज्यूमर्स के हमारे जो राइट्स हैं इतनी सारी चीजें थी अब इन्होंने ई कॉमर्स सबको ले लिया लपेट दिया गवर्नमेंट ने अब नहीं छोड़ेगी तो हमें भी लपेट दिया